Picture this. You sit down with zero code, zero repo, no Xcode, no Firebase, nothing. You type one sentence about an app that solves homework from a photo. 5 minutes later, you are watching a real iPhone build ship off toward the Apple App Store review queue. No agency, no freelancer, no stack of tutorials. Just you, a prompt box, and an AI assistant called Vibecode. The wild part is, this is not a mock-up. This is an on-camera demo that has already gone viral. In the clip titled Vibecode.dev is insane. Creator Riley Brown opens Vibecode, types a single prompt about a homework solving app, and just watches the stack materialize in real time. The app accepts a photo of a worksheet, sends it to Google's Gemini image model, and returns the same sheet with the right answers written directly on the image. Then, in a few taps, he adds a paywall, runs a $5 test purchase, and literally pinches the screen to start an App Store build. It looks like science fiction. But here is the question you and I actually care about. Is this a one-off magic trick or a repeatable way to build real products? To answer that, we have to unpack what Vibecode is really doing behind the scenes. They call it vibe coding. You do not drag blocks or wire APIs. You describe the vibe of the app in plain English. Something like scan homework photos, use AI to solve problems, lock answers behind a $5 subscription, and instead of spitting out random code snippets, Vibecode behaves more like a product manager and a senior engineer rolled into one. It chooses navigation patterns, state management, data flow, and then assembles a full mobile stack that feels hand-built. But here's the pattern break. You never see a single line of code. Instead of dropping you into a blank canvas, Vibecode spins up an entire backend the moment you describe a feature. In Riley Brown's demo, he taps the Cloud tab and sees live tables for users, images, subscriptions, and logs of every homework photo and AI-generated answer. No schema editor, no SQL prompt, no connection strings. Just data already wired to the app. On top of that, user authentication is pre-baked. Sign up, log in, secure access to user-specific content, all generated without you ever touching tokens or password hashing. In a minute, we will see why that matters for people who are not developers at all. The front end is just as opinionated. Vibecode does not give you a generic web wrapper. It generates native-feeling mobile layouts that follow iOS conventions with screens for camera capture, AI results, and a polished paywall. Then comes the sci-fi flourish. Pinch to build. Instead of wrestling with provisioning profiles, certificates, and continuous integration pipelines, you literally pinch the canvas, tap 3 dots, and hit publish to the App Store. Behind that tiny gesture, Vibecode is configuring build settings, signing binaries, and talking to your Apple developer account. This is where a lot of no-code tools fall apart. Vibecode turns it into a 30-second ritual. So is this just a flashy demo, or are people actually shipping? The App Store data says this thing is real. Vibecode sits at around 4.6 stars from more than 1,700 reviews on iOS. And when you scroll those reviews, a pattern jumps out. People are not only talking about prototypes, they are talking about production apps. One user says they tried to outsource a language learning app for nearly $2,000, got nothing usable, then rebuilt a Duolingo-style app in about 15 minutes using Vibecode prompts instead of Jira tickets. This is where the stakes get real, because that is not just saving time. That is nuking an entire freelance budget. And it is not just language apps. Reviews mention grocery list apps with persistent storage and clean UI, habit trackers, workout planners, and niche business tools. All built on the same AI-generated full-stack scaffolding. Crucially, users say these apps pass App Store review, handle authentication, talk to a real database, and process payments. Several compare Vibecode directly to general AI coding agents and say, this one actually follows instructions when the target is a mobile app. But here is the twist that might matter more than the tech. People keep calling out the support team. Multiple reviewers describe hitting a wall, like a map component not loading or an authentication flow misbehaving, and Vibecode support literally jumping into their workspace to debug and push a fix. One user reports that a bug with maps led to a platform-wide improvement that rolled out to everyone. That feedback loop from user pain to product update has become part of the pitch. It feels less like a static tool and more like a living service that keeps learning from thousands of builders. In a world where many AI tools feel disposable, that kind of responsiveness is a big signal. It suggests Vibecode is betting on long-term, serious builders, not just viral demos. Underneath all of this is what I would call the God mode stack. Start with data. In the Cloud tab, You see every table Vibecode created for you, like images, users, subscriptions, and logs. You can inspect and even edit rows like a spreadsheet. You did not provision Postgres. You did not wire up Firebase. You just described behavior, like store every homework photo and every AI answer, and the platform spun up tables, columns, and relationships automatically. For a non-technical founder, that is like having a back-end engineer quietly working in the background while you focus on features. Monetization lives one tab away. In the demo, Riley opens the Payments tab, configures a paywall that locks premium homework help behind a subscription, and runs a $5 test purchase. Behind that simple screen, Vibecode is wiring Stripe and RevenueCat, handling product setup, subscription status tracking, and receipt validation. The same stack many indie developers spend days stitching together by hand. Then there are the AI integrations. That homework app uses Google's Gemini image model to analyze photos and overlay correct answers. All of that, from upload to model call to storing the output, comes from a single natural language prompt. In a second, we will talk about what that convenience really costs. Instant Genius does not come free. Vibecode runs on a freemium, metered credit model. You can download the app, spin up a workspace, and build a toy project for free. But serious building, with lots of AI generations, database operations, and deployments, burns through credits. Paid subscriptions give you more monthly credits, faster build queues, and support for more concurrent projects. Reviews often land in the same ballpark. A couple $100s to take a full app from idea to app store listing, mixing a few months of subscription with extra credit packs. Compared to a basic minimum viable product from an agency that might start at $20,000, that is shockingly cheap. But there is a darker side to metering. Every prompt, every rebuild, every UI tweak can consume credits. If your instructions are messy or you keep changing your mind, the AI may regenerate entire screens or refactor logic unnecessarily. Some users describe sessions where they burned through balances way faster than expected, nudged toward higher tiers or add-on packs. So the economic story looks like this. If you are a focus builder with a clear idea, Vibecode can be brutally cost-effective. If you are an impulsive tinkerer who loves to reprompt and redesign, it can quietly turn into an AI-powered credit sink. So where does Vibecode sit in the broader AI tool landscape? It is not Cursor or Bolt, which supercharge developers inside code editors but still assume you own a repo and think in files. And it is not classic no-code like Bubble or Adalo, where you drag components, wire data sources, and babysit state machines. Vibecode skips the repo entirely. You tell it what you want the app to do, and it scaffolds the whole mobile stack for you. General models like ChatGPT often hallucinate APIs or break mid-refactor. Vibecode users say the agent actually follows instructions when the target is a mobile app with AI, a database, and payments. That shift changes who can ship. Bubble Power users still think in tables, API connectors, and custom JavaScript. Vibecode targets people who think in outcomes. I want a Duolingo-style app with streaks and subscriptions. I want a grocery list app with offline storage. Then expect working navigation, auth, and billing in minutes. Speed is the sharpest edge. From the viral 5-minute homework app to user stories about under 1-hour grocery apps, Vibecode compresses what used to be weeks of work into a single focused evening. And this is where the job conversation starts to feel uncomfortable. Is Vibecode coming for developers' jobs or just changing what those jobs look like? On one hand, if a solo founder can rebuild a $2,000 language app in 15 minutes, that is pressure on low-end freelance work. On the other hand, the platform itself is a massive, custom full-stack system that only exists because experienced engineers built and maintain it. And there are still hard problems Vibecode does not magically solve. Messy legacy integrations, deep custom logic, complex performance tuning. In a way, it is doing to app development what spreadsheets once did to back-office software. It pulls millions of new people into the game while pushing experts toward higher level, more strategic problems. So should you catch the vibe? If you are a non-technical founder with a clear mobile idea and you are comfortable learning a new tool, Vibecode looks like a serious contender. It gives you an opinionated mobile-first, full stack that hides almost all of the plumbing. If you are a developer, it is less a threat and more a leveraged tool. You can validate ideas, ship internal tools, or prototype features at ridiculous speed, then drop down to code only when you really need to. The real risk is not that Vibecode exists. It is ignoring tools like this while your competition quietly uses them to move 10 times faster. Here is my challenge to you. Think of one app idea you have been sitting on for months. Something you thought would cost 10 grand and a year of back and forth with an agency. Now imagine describing it in a paragraph and having a working prototype tonight. That is the mental shift Vibecode is really selling. Not just faster code, but a lower barrier to trying. If you want a deep dive into how prompts map to components, data models, and deploy steps, check out their docs. And if you want more breakdowns of tools that could change who gets to build software, hit subscribe, drop your questions in the comments, and tell me, would you trust an AI to build your next app?